We're live.
We're live. We're live. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Sit Down Podcast. So we're going to go mafia on you. All right. Today we got a very special guest, a new addition to the family. Are we good? All right. He started out as he was putting in work. He came up to be an associate. Now he's a made guy in real estate. Okay, he's part of the family. And my friend Shane CO is here, and we're going to tell you about a huge event he's going to be having. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All the way from Atlanta, Georgia, baby. Came all the way down just to see you people.
Yes.
And that means all people. Oh, don't say you people. What do you mean by you people? I mean everybody. If you're a person, you're a people. All right. So anyway, basically, Shane, just to give you a little history, Shane held a huge event that he invited me to. How long ago was it, Shane?
This was December.
We went to a big hotel. He treated us like big shots. We had a room packed with people, hundreds and hundreds of people there. And it was just full of people that just wanted to get ahead and make money. And everybody was talking to each other and learning from each other and talking about this kind of deal and that kind of deal and financing and everything you could imagine in mostly real estate.
Oh, real estate.
That we were talking about. And it was just a fabulous experience. And I really appreciate it. And, my wife had a good time because she had like an open bar, I think. So, he's going to do it again. So basically your organization, I don't want to misspeak. So tell us, the name of your organization is?
Oh, so it's So Media. But this conference, May 30th, is going to be the Pivot Summit. And we're going to have Ben back out there. We're going to roll out the red carpet. And the whole purpose is to be able to, basically everything me and Ben needed whenever we started is we didn't have a place to go meet mentors, veteran, business people, as well as also have like-minded people that are just either starting or advanced. So you can find your future partners and everything.
It's all in the company you keep.
100%.
If you surround yourself around people that have the same interest as you do, then you're going to be in the right place and you're going to get in where you fit in. If you want to fit in with people that are hungry for success, want to make deals, want to grow, then you got to come to this event, okay? Because the people that were there were fabulous people. I had such a great time. I met all kind of interesting people, all different levels is which I like. And it was just a great event. I mean, so when is it again?
So the next one is May 30th. May 30th in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes. Where are we going to be? What hotel?
It's not a hotel. It's at the Cobb Galleria. So a really nice spot.
We're going to be in Cobb Galleria.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Cobb Galleria, May the 30th. And how do people get tickets? Tickets.
Well, believe it or not, everyone here is going to get a free ticket just for you guys, Ben. Everybody? Yes.
You ain't going to be able to fit that many people. How do they do it? How do they get the ticket?
All right. So what you guys have to do is there's a picture that me and Ben have collaborated on Instagram. You have to be following both Ben and myself. And you have to comment on the picture, pivot, Pivot, just like this right here, pivot. And you'll get a link that will help you fill out, get your free ticket to come see Ben.
Hey, I'm flying in Atlanta just for the show. It's going to be a great night. And you're definitely going to walk away feeling like it was time that was worth spent. When I left there, I felt like, you know what? The time I spent here, I felt like it was productive. You go places, oh, yeah. But you go to a place where you feel like it's productive and you walk away with stuff and your brain's working and you're thinking thinking about all the things that you talked about with people and ideas and things you want to start doing. I couldn't wait to get home, but let me tell you about Shane, okay? Shane and me met because I believe you did a consult with Ben. Correct?
I did a consult with Ben.
And I was very impressed with him. So basically, you started, right, with pretty much no houses, right?
Yeah, nothing. I was
and
a
how old were you?
teacher.
How old were you? Like when did you buy your first house?
1 month before 30.
1 month before 30?
Yes, sir.
And how old are you now?
38.
In 8 years, he's accumulated 400 houses. And how many multifamilies and stuff on top of that?
We got 150 units.
Unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. In 8 years, you've accumulated an enormous amount of assets, equity, wealth, and listen, I've been to his house. He's got a mini version of mine. Okay. In fact, I'm going to try to sell him my house when we're over with this tonight.
We're going to make a deal today.
Yeah, I'll take yours on trade-in.
There you go. I'll do that.
But, this event you can't miss. I really encourage everybody to go to our Instagram accounts. And you said hit pivot in the comments?
Yeah, so you guys are going to follow both Ben and myself. Follow me here at Shane So, SEO. And there's a picture of me and Ben in the collaboration post. Our last picture, comment, pivot, PIVOT, and it'll send you a link so you can get a free ticket. Free ticket to come see Ben.
You can't ask for more than free, baby.
Yeah.
Free.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about Ben that was really awesome, okay, that everyone commented on whenever he came to our last event, is the fact that he stood out and took a picture with everyone.
Oh, absolutely.
I just want to say, honestly, Ben is definitely there to help.
That's the biggest
everyone.
compliment somebody can pay me in the world. They want to take a picture of a guy who looks like me. Come on. Except I'm going to tell you a story real quick.
Yeah.
All right. So we had a long line of people. Larry had the whole thing set up with the backdraft. And what do they call that? The
little red carpet?
with the whole thing set up, the
backdrop.
pictures, the backdrop and everything. And, we had a lot of people there. It was great. And I loved talking to people and taking pictures. And, my wife, I didn't see her around for like an hour or two. I don't know where she's at. I don't worry about her. I'm working, And all of a sudden, this lady comes up. And, she was, probably about the mid-20s or something like that. And, she looked like, fairly attractive, even though I wasn't looking at it that way. And I haven't seen my wife for hours. All of a sudden, this young lady comes up, take a picture of me. Bam! I go to take the picture with her. Bam! I look over here. My wife is standing right there, boy. It's like she got radar. Ding, 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 ding.
She knows when to come.
She's too much. But anyway, I look forward to the event. I really do.
No, we're honored to have you again.
So, you went out. What did you do? You started, when you were 30, what happened? A light bulb went up and said you're just going to start buying houses or what?
When I was 25, so I taught Taekwondo, like martial arts. I was a karate school teacher.
Oh, that's because he's half Korean.
I am half
He'll
Korean.
give you a Korean chop.
He thought I was half Filipino.
Instead of karate chop, he give you a Korean chop.
Yeah, well, this guy.
Are you from South Korea or North Korea?
South Korea.
South Korea, the good side. Okay.
Yeah, so this guy bought the pizza place next to me. He had his hair slicked back. Him and his wife had matching Cadillacs. And I said, "Sir, what do you do for a living?" He said, "I do real estate." So I took him to lunch. He said he, bought properties. He flipped them. He would wholesale a little bit. And then he'd, buy some rentals. And I really wanted to get into it. I just didn't know what I was doing. So it took me 5 years because I was 25 at that time. It took me 5 years to kind of just figure it out because I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have anyone like you, Ben, to watch on YouTube. And I guess I was just afraid. But then right around 30 years old, an agent finally pushed me to buy a property, and I'm glad he did. Yeah.
So he pushed you to buy a house, right?
Yeah, house, single
Remember
family.
how much it cost?
$45,000.
$45,000, and that was only 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
Oh, it is Georgia. I forgot.
It is Georgia.
All right. So you bought this house, and then what happened? You had to put some work into it.
So got it under contract. I borrowed $45,000 from a buddy. He bought it, and we agreed that if I did all the repairs and maintenance and paid for that, we'd split the profits. So he paid the money. We bought the house. I used credit cards to do all the repairs and maintenance, and then we flipped it. We made about $60,000 in between both of us.
There you go. So, and then you just went on a roll, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, no.
You got hooked like an addict.
I was, but I was actually kind of stressed because it took me 8 months to do the fix and flip on a little cheap home.
First time.
I had to deal with contractors too. Yeah.
Well, your first time is always going to be a learning experience, but once you get on a roll, don't you get hooked?
Oh, 100%.
I remember when I was that age, when I was 25 and 30, I was hooked. I was hooked. I was like a real estate fiend. I needed a fix. I needed a deal. I needed something to get out there and buy it, fix it up, and get it fixed up, and get it rented out, and get it refined, and then refinance it again, and then sell it, baby. Oh, yeah. You just get yourself on a roll. Next thing you know, you turn around, and if you kept recycling the money, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
that's the thing. That's the thing. You can't piss the money away. If you just keep recycling that money, it's going to build up, and now you got an empire of real estate. So that's amazing that you did all that in such a short period of time.
Oh yeah, and to Ben's point, once you do one deal, you're going to get addicted. So it took me 5 years to get my first deal, and then as soon as I sold it and made a little money, and I said, "Wow, this process is doable." I got 60 homes in the next 5 months. Just because I got excited, I got really obsessed with it. Yeah. So
how'd you finance it all?
I did a lot of creative financing. I did, I did some more fix and flips with my buddy since he made a good profit. He rolled in. Now I don't use any partners. We don't raise any capital or anything like that. So a lot of creative financing and just mixing with traditional ways like
you don't know unless you ask.
Yes.
If you ask the seller, hey, if the seller's sitting there with a house and he can't sell it, all right, listen, it happens. It's happening right now.
Yes.
The market, I heard, is that, houses are just sitting on the market right now. They ain't moving, so we'll wait for everything to come down. But in the meantime, offer them a deal. Say, hey, why can't you be the bank? You want to get rid of this house? I'll pay you every month, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
there
sir.
you go. And then eventually you refinance and take them out, right?
I did. I cashed out refinance.
There you go. As soon as you got the place fixed up, then you cash them out. You put a little money in your pocket. You go out and buy another deal. It's all like a machine that you become. You become a machine where things just start happening automatic. You buy it, you fix it, you refinance it, you go out and do another one, and you just keep rocking and rolling.
Absolutely.
But you really amazing how you did so much in such a short period of time, even in Georgia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, that's it, baby. We're going to be there. Last time there had to be what? How many people were there?
We had 325.
At least. Okay.
And this one will have 1,000 people.
1,000?
We'll have 1,000 people.
You sure?
That's what we're shooting for. We're shooting for.
I can't take 1,000 pictures. Hopefully only half of them like me.
So you guys got to get in line quick.
I better take some vitamins that day. But listen, you come to these events, he's not looking to squeeze any money out of you. You're not selling courses, are you?
No.
You're not selling courses, neither am I. We're not looking to take your money and use it. It's just a collaboration of a lot of people interested in making moves in real estate. Okay. Yeah. And you're never going to learn as much anywhere as you're going to learn from people that have had experiences.
100%.
Everybody's got a different experience. You had your experience. I had my experience, but that's a lot to keep track of. You got what? You're talking about, you got 400 plus another 150 a multi. How many doors is that rents to keep track of every month?
Oh yeah, 550. And then we have some commercial. We own property in Costa Rica as well.
Costa Rica.
Yeah. Yes, my wife's from Costa Rica.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. You carry a gun when you go there?
Gun?
Gun. Boom,
oh,
boom.
No? Actually, we did buy a gun there. I let her do the whole course. We have a Glock.
Anyway, I just stick to inside the country because, tax-wise, I don't want to give up. But whatever works for you, and your wife's from there, so you got to benefit.
Yeah.
I go there. My wife's Mexican. She ain't going to be the same. But,
I forgot you have a Latina wife, too.
Yeah. So anyway, basically, listen, I love meeting people like Shane because, they started with nothing and they just had it in their head and they got hooked on real estate like I did and they just kept doing it. Is it easy? No. Right?
No,
it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy, free money, but you can do it.
Yes.
Okay. You can do it.
It took me 5 years to get my first deal because I was afraid. I didn't have education. YouTube wasn't like it was 8 years ago. But now you got people like Ben and people online. You can learn some things.
Listen, if you get it in your head, I'm going to do this. And if your plan makes sense, which in real estate, people don't realize, it's numbers. It's all numbers. If you got a good plan and a good opportunity, there really isn't much risk. If you know you're buying it for X amount of dollars and you know you're spending X amount of dollars to fix it up and you know how much you're going to be into it, then what is it going to be worth? Is there a spread in between what you're into it and what the market's willing to pay? Because basically, if you wanted to start selling these houses off, basically people that typically buy homes, most of the country uses FHA. Right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So FHA people, they can't come in and buy fixer-uppers.
No.
Okay. So you're building up sweat equity, which then turns into, a lot of equity in the property when you sell it. But you chose to keep them as rentals, which is great.
Yes.
So you got a great cash flow, and that's fabulous.
Yeah. And what we did to stand out is what we do is we build a pathway to home ownership for people who can't get a loan right now. Like a majority of Americans can't get a loan because either they have medical debt, school debt, they don't have enough job history. So what we've done, we buy properties and then we'll take a small down payment sometime and lease option it for a while and give them time to get what they need to get fixed. And then they can cash us out later once they got their credit or their situation in a better spot.
So when you rent to somebody, you're also giving them an opportunity to own it.
Exactly. Yes.
That's very commendable because a lot of people won't do that.
Yes,
so that's great. Very good.
Yeah. And the good thing is since I'm renting on the investor side, since we're buying and giving that opportunity, then when they cash out refinance in a year or 2 or 3 years, we get to 1031 on some of those too. So
very good. I mean, yeah, you should always try to 1031 and defer the tax. I mean, that was what helped me grow to where I'm at today. The rules, if you play by the rules, you will win.
Yes.
All right. If you do we have rules. The IRS has rules. They tell you, listen, if you do this and this and this, you're going to benefit. And because I never touched the money on a sale and just rolled it into the next 1031, that's the way I was like forced to grow.
Yes.
The tax laws forced me to grow. They did me a favor.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great. That's the way it is. You got to do it.
It is. And what it does is the reason they have the tax code that way is it incentivizes us to keep growing, giving jobs, moving the economy. We're going to give jobs to people. We're buying equipment. We're buying.
You know how many
everything.
millions I've spent in Home Depot? Well, every year, millions probably or more, millions
That's
more.
crazy. Do you use credit card and get credit card points, or do you
we have a special account with Home Depot where if we ever buy any large purchases, then we go to what they call the bid room, and then they'll give us a bid or a special discount. But overall, we always get a good discount, based on our account. And yes, we get points. They used to actually give me checks. It was crazy.
Oh,
I don't know if only they still do. Now we get credit, but they used to I say, where does check come from? My kid would show me checks for thousands of dollars. Oh, that's from Home Depot. They're giving us back money. Home Depot's giving back money. That's crazy. It's great. But yeah, we get a lot of benefits with Home Depot on their program. So, and they try to be competitive, if you go to, but I'll tell you a little trick I used to play. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would go to say, Lowe's and, and see how much they wanted for certain, whatever I needed, whatever I was buying. And then I knew if Home Depot sold almost the exact same or similar product, I'd go to them and say, here's a copy from Lowe's. This is what they want to charge me. And they'd take 10% off. Right off, no questions asked, nothing. Automatically, 10% off. They'll do anything to beat the other competition out. I mean, that's the business.
Yeah, that's the business.
It's all about getting a good bid on stuff.
Yeah.
And then, so how did you fix these things up? You were hiring this guy and that guy and just getting it done, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we deal with a lot of, because I do speak Spanish, so we have a lot of Hispanic people in the area. I was starting. It was in Rome, Georgia. I don't know if anyone here knows where Rome, Georgia is, but
not
it's like
Italy,
Northwest.
but Georgia.
Yeah, Rome, Georgia. And then I would talk to them and, find a really good guy that did good work, and he'd do it, give me a discount since I was giving him so much work.
I used to go out in front of the Home Depot and they all stand out there waiting for work in the morning and hire them.
We did that recently.
I bring somebody with me that spoke Spanish because my Spanish sucks. If I talk Spanish, they get mad at me. I always wonder why when I talk Spanish, people get mad at me because my wife says, because what you're saying makes no sense.
So if I say,
you can't convert words from English to Spanish that easy.
No.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because there's a thing like, for example, they change things. If I say I'm hungry, they don't say that. They say I have hunger.
I have hunger.
Yeah.
Yo tengo hambre.
There you go.
I used to get hambre mixed up with hombre.
Oh, tienes hombre.
Yeah. So, well, listen, if you can make it, please, I'm telling you now, come. Yeah. He's offering it for free. Yes. Okay, for free. I'm going to be there. He's going to have all kinds of people there. You're going to have what type of people are you going to have there this year?
So here we have people all over. So the Atlanta Real Estate Conference is in December, every year, November, December. This one is our business conference. Still about 50 to 60% are mainly real estate people. But so that's all the audience.
What's the other 40%?
Other made general business. But these are people new. They've never done a deal. Maybe they're curious about getting in the business. Maybe they're advanced, and we'll have some experts there too.
Yeah, I mean, I was very impressed with a lot of the speakers you had because you know why? I mean, I listened to these people and I talked to them. These were not full of shit people. Yeah. You go to a lot of these conferences and everyone wants to teach you this and teach you that. But have you done it? All right, I'm just going to tell you my opinion. Okay, there's an old saying. I don't know if you remember the old saying. Those who can do. And those who can't teach or talk.
Yeah.
Those who can't teach or talk to teach Jim.
Yes.
But basically, I like to talk to people that have lived it. Okay. And everybody that I met at your last conference, these were people that are just sharing their experience.
Yes, sir.
And telling you what they've experienced, not just, telling you some stuff they read on AI or in the book,
Yeah.
Well, like I said, what's great about it is you're not walking into a wolf's den with him. I've seen a lot of these real estate stuff.
It's a sales fest.
They got a sales pitch. They got a hidden agenda. There's no hidden agenda with me and you. That's why me and you get along so well.
Yeah. So, I do want to say this. So usually at most conferences that I've gone to, it is a sales fest. Every speaker's just selling something. what we wanted to do is I wanted to create something that I needed, and I wanted to have access to people like you, veterans, and meet some like-minded people. I've gone to some conference and I didn't get nothing from the speaker, but the people I met, I ended up getting deals from.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, and
if
then,
you get around people that have
Yeah.
the same mindset as you, and and you all collaborate, you're going to get something productive out of it. It's just a fact. It's human nature.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to get out, just to be transparent, is I've noticed the importance of going to conferences like this and meeting people and rubbing shoulders with the veterans. And my hope is I'll find a future partner, or I'll find a deal that I don't want. Maybe someone else will buy it, or some people bring me deals. And then worst case scenario, they don't ever partner, but they'll talk good about us. That's how I like
it's
it.
all
Yeah.
about networking.
Yes.
If people, you can't do stuff on your own. If you network, then you got the benefit of a lot of people, and that's how you learn, and that's how you get opportunities.
Yeah.
A lot of guys I talked to at your last event, they had great opportunities, and some of them I was pretty interested in, because I'm getting old and I want to travel.
Yeah. Now, I just want to remind everyone that is on this live stream, okay, you're going to get a free ticket. If you go to mine and Ben's Instagram, you have to be following Ben and me. So here, Shane So, okay, SHANESEO. There's a picture of me and Ben together. Make sure you guys comment Pivot, PIVOT. It'll send you a link and you'll get a free ticket to the conference. You guys can come see Ben, take a good picture with him. And I'd love to see you guys as well. Just want to remind everyone.
It's going to be a great night. We'll have a great time. Great time. So what else? You got your big portfolio you're running. Are you doing any new projects right now? You got any construction going on?
So the last time that me and you talked, I have my 400 single family, and I'd like to slowly liquidate that. And you've been helping kind of guide me and mentor me on that. So I want to get out, sell that, move into multifamily, larger multifamily, if we can find a deal. Commercial.
The deals are coming.
Yes.
Okay. I know I sound like I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm telling you, the deals are coming. They have to. It's impossible. What's going on right now is they're kind of changing, they're playing with the whole chemistry of it. The banks know, and I'll use the word damn well, that they're sitting on loans that when they loaned them the money, it was at 4% 5 years ago, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
A lot of those loans only go out 5 years.
That's right.
Commercial paper don't go out too long, 5, 7. I borrowed 3 years. So now the rates are like 7, 8. The properties are not worth, and the loans are not worth the same value if the interest rate is double. It's impossible. But the banks don't want you to know that.
They don't.
They want to be, we're going to pretend everything's okay. Pretend and let's extend. They're praying that the rates are going to come back down, so then the loans will now be worth what they were when they loaned them.
That's right.
Because you know damn well the banks only worth what the loans are.
Yeah.
And if the loans ain't worth, the banks ain't worth, then what happens to this stock? Down the toilets.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. And they're trying to keep it hidden right now. So I'm seeing different agency funding, CMBS, Fannie Mae, insurance companies, they're all extending them.
They are.
It's crazy. I've never seen that because they don't want to fail.
Yeah, they don't want
It's not the same as 2008. It's not the same. Okay. 2008, they loaned a shitload of money to people that they shouldn't have done. And there was a lot of bullshit going on, and it all came to a big collapse. Now what they did was they simply didn't prepare when they loaned made those loans. Nobody knew the interest rates were going to double.
No.
Nobody knew. They didn't think it was going to happen. So now here they are stuck with owing, I'm talking, I don't know, it was $1 trillion, but hundreds of billions of dollars in loans that are due right now. You don't believe me? Google it. You can see. And they're just keeping it quiet. And now I'm starting to see it trickle down.
Yeah, I see a little bit of pain.
You see the dogs come first.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. And then because if the property's a real dog and the guy's not taking care of it, he's really in the negative, he's just going to throw the keys back to the bank, and then the bank's going to have to liquidate it and get wherever they can out of it.
No,
I'm starting to see a lot more receiverships getting properties from banks. I'm seeing a lot more what they call friendly foreclosures, where they just throw the keys back in. Now, anybody that had a non-recourse loan, they're going to throw the keys back in.
Yeah.
Because they're going to say, well, it was fun while it lasted. Whatever, partnerships got together and peeled together the deposits, and we're just going to walk. Because, they're not going to want to feed the pot. They're not going to want to feed the kitty, the monster, and bring the loan down to meet its debt ratio. And they're not going to cash flow at today's rates, so they just walk away. I'm starting to see it happen, but it starts with the really bad stuff.
Yes.
So I'm looking at that. I'm out looking at properties right now, and and that's what we're going to try to do. And we'll take some of the dogs if we think we can take the dog and turn it into a pedigree. That's what we're doing now. But eventually, I do see a lot of good shit coming down. I think we should see at least a minimum. A 25% correction in the market. If you're looking at apartments right now and you want $150,000 for that unit, they're not going to get it. They're going to have to come down, probably to about $1.15, $1.20, or $1.25, something like that. Yeah. Because the numbers don't work. You can't make the numbers work. Rents are only so much. Now, we did have a big height in the rents, and I'm starting to see rents coming down.
They are. Okay? They're flattening out for sure.
All right. Well, rents are coming down, but the home builders are suffering. Because I know for a fact, if you invested in home building stock in the past couple of years, you've taken a big hit because people aren't buying homes at the same rate. Why? Because the same guy that went out there and wanted to buy, even say he qualified for a $200,000 house, right? Mm-hmm. At 4%, he qualified for $200,000. He don't qualify for $200,000 no more at 8%. He qualifies for $100,000.
And that's not out there.
Yeah. And it's not out there, or you don't want it. So, it's a weird market we're in right now. So hopefully we're going to see something happening, and there's going to be opportunity. So I'm telling everybody out there, stash your cash. Every dime you get your hands on, stash it away. Because when the opportunity starts coming, knocking at the door, you want to be there to answer with the money ready to make a deal.
Absolutely. 100%. See, this is a veteran speaking here. 100%.
I mean, I always try to have my strength, my money ready to rock and roll when the deal does come. Because you got to be ready to go. If you start buying foreclosures, then you really, then you got to have your money like that. The county, you buy something on the county website and it's foreclosed on, they want that money the next day. So you have cash or you have hard money lenders lend up, whatever. So, get all your resources together, clean up your mess. If you don't need it, get rid of it, sell it, turn it into cash, and be ready to rock and roll. But opportunities are always going to be there. Let's face it. Okay.
It is.
I mean, you see opportunities there. Yeah. You're probably turning down a lot because you feel like you've grown. But just for a guy starting out, there's always going to be a house out there you can buy and fix up.
There is. And like I said, one thing that's been also is saying, and is good, is that the opportunity is coming. And I do a lot of creative stuff. I know you've done a lot of things traditional. Have you ever done like much creative stuff?
Not much. I was more the type where I just borrowed the money.
Yeah.
I borrowed the money from whoever I could. At first, I was borrowing on a C level, then went to a B level, and I made it to an A level. I mean, to me, listen, if you can make a deal with the seller and be creative, that's great.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how you make the deal, as long as you make the deal and you bought it right. That's all that matters. And a lot of times, a lot of people they want to make a deal with you. Why?
They do.
Because it's better for them tax-wise to spread the money out instead of getting a lump sum and have the IRS knocking at your door.
Yeah. Especially honestly, people like usually that they've already kind of depreciated out. They got to pay depreciation, recapture, capital gain. And we're able to buy and help them kind of spread that out over many years instead of take that lump sum up front.
You got state tax too on your capital gains.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So you got fed, you got state. It's a big thing. So when you buy somebody's property, if you can help them reduce their taxes, it makes sense for them to work with you.
Yes. Okay.
There you go. And they know the property that they're loaning their money on, right? Because they owned it.
So here's one tip, and I just want to hear your thought on it. Okay, so this is kind of how I got started. I wanted to get into single family. I didn't have the best credit. I didn't have the best, honestly, tax returns. What I did is I reached out to older landlords. Okay, that they're usually buying these houses to rent for retirement, which is good. And then they find out it's not as passive as they thought. It's not even semi-passive. It's more active.
The houses get older.
And the houses
they got to start
older.
fixing them.
Yeah.
And then they start having empty units, and they got to get them fixed up and rented. And I don't want to deal with this shit.
Yeah.
That's not a retirement.
Yeah. Then they turn into a slumlord. They can't They don't want to repair and fix and maintain. They just bought it. This is supposed to be my retirement. So what we do is we'll reach out to them and talk to them and say, hey, look, I see you got this one house or these 10 homes. I'm a young guy trying to get into real estate. I can upgrade you from landlord to banker. So it can be completely passive. I get to come in and I want to manage and I want to get in. I want to repair these properties and I'll deal with the tenants. You just get a check every month.
Very good. It works for them. It works for you. Everybody lives happily ever after.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's what it's all about. In real estate, it's about making a deal that works for everybody.
Win-win. That's right.
That's just what it's all about. And then, as long as you're buying it at a price that that you have some upside in, because you're the one that's going to go in there and get the place fixed up. And you're the one that's going to go in there and bring the rents up to market value.
Yes.
And you're the one that's going to increase the equity and the value of the property. Mm-hmm. So, you're earning it. You're earning it. That guy didn't want to. He doesn't want to deal with that shit. I used to have people in Oakland, I swear to God, they'd walk in my office and they just throw the keys on the desk. Say, here, take it. I said, how much you owe? 50 grand. Fine. Sign over here. And I'd take it subject to their loan, or if they didn't have a loan, I did a lot of that stuff. Subject to was a big thing when I was coming up. Mm-hmm. People just wanted to walk away. Why? I don't blame them. These people are like 60, 65, 70, whatever. They work their whole lives. They don't want to deal with the headaches. And that's just part of being human life, and a young guy like you comes in, I can do it. I'm Superman. I'm Shane, Superman.
Yeah.
And you come in, you get everything going, and you take it to the next level, and there you go.
Yeah. Well, I want to tell you, so actually, I want to remind everyone, so I saw some more people come in. Again, anyone that is on this live stream is getting a free ticket to the Pivot Conference where Ben's going to be here in Atlanta, May 30th. You have to be following both me and Ben. Follow me here on Instagram, Shane. Okay. And you have to find the picture of me and Ben, and you need to comment Pivot, Pivot, and you're going to get a free ticket. Also,
pretty good.
Ben, he's going to give away to someone during this live stream a free consult with Ben for 15 minutes. So if you want that, make sure you guys do that below. And Ben, thank you for giving away.
We might do a raffle for some more while I'm there.
Yeah, and we're going to do some raffle at the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, you guys can get a good picture with Ben.
I mean, it's great to get around all these people, and everybody's got their own little thing going on, and you learn from them, and they learn from you, and you talk, and it just seems like your brain's working, and you're really doing something positive and productive. I like my time to be spent productively. I hate wasting time. And when you go to these events, and you everybody's on the same, brainwave. We're all thinking about making deals.
Yes.
I talk to guys doing all kinds of stuff in your events, from ALFs to all types of things, retail, residential, everything.
Okay. Actually, you guys have to also, if you want the free basic ticket, whenever you click on the link, click on the link, and you have to put in Ben, Ben, to get that free ticket.
How many damn things you got to do to get a free ticket out of you? What is this?
I'm like an old man, you guys. I don't even know how to do this.
We don't know this.
Tim's over here helping me right now. So you have to put Ben, Ben, right? In the checkout, put Ben, Ben, and you'll get a free ticket to come.
And does the event have a website put up there yet?
It is. It's called thepivotsummit.com. We'll make sure we're if you don't mind to put it in the description.
You want to know about the event? You want any details about it? It's called
thepivotsummit.com.
Thepivotsummit.com.
We'll put it in. I think we're going to put it in the
Atlanta, Georgia, baby. Peachtown, May 30th. That'll be great. I mean, I love the last event we went to. It was fabulous.
Yeah, we had a buddy named Tanner that came to pick you up in the cyber truck.
Pick me up in a cyber truck.
Yeah, so we want to say hey to Tanner. He says,
"Hey Tanner, how are you? You ever fixed that damn window that was cracked in your cyber truck?"
Actually, he got sideswiped recently. Someone ran into the side of it, sadly.
Yeah. Nice guy. You guys treated us like royalty. My wife, me, everything was great. We loved it. I felt like I just felt, you go places and you feel like, oh, yeah, it's okay, but you don't feel like comfortable. I end up going to a lot of, stuff like that, especially political events. But, when we went to your event, it was just, everything was great. Everything was great. I felt so at home and so relaxed, and everybody was happy. It was just a positive event. So if you can make it to Atlanta on May the 30th, I'll be there. I encourage you to be there. And if you want to do anything in Georgia, especially, I mean, this guy, he's got a lot of real estate in Georgia. He knows pretty much everything about Georgia real estate.
Yeah, Yeah, I see in below Rafal put in thepivotsummit.com. Remember, in the checkout, put Ben, B-E-N.
Check his spelling because he misspells everything. He's Polish.
There you go.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Very good, very good. And my kid graduates high school like the next day. So I got to hurry up and get home.
That's what you're okay. Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
So also at the Pivot Summit, so not only do we have during the day, but at night we have a mansion party. Now that's for the upper tickets.
The upper tickets.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the food?
That was great. Yeah, that Italian food you had. His house is like a mini version of mine. Your wife's very hospitable. Everybody was really nice. We met people from Japan there. I remember one lady. She gave us a good tip on how to fly to Japan, really cheap. She was right too.
Really?
She was giving us these tips on these airlines because my wife and I were talking about going to Japan. We met a lot of interesting people. You know what's so great about these events is that when you go to these events, it's everybody. You feel like you're human. You got white people, black people, Spanish people, Asian people. Nobody gives a damn. Every nationality, Indian, it just feels like the world. I love to go to events where, and you got all different levels of, people with money and, people starting out. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Everybody's just there and everybody's happy because we all care about one thing. Progress, making a better life for us and our family and having a successful career, and it just feels good.
Yeah. And one thing that shocked me, Ben, is that over 35%, almost 40% was women.
Yeah, a lot of women there.
I could not believe it. It was amazing. It was great to see.
Women, men, we don't even care. We don't care what gender is. I think there was a couple of people there that they didn't know if they were man or woman or whatever. I don't care. I don't give a damn. All we care about is making money. How you spend your money, I don't give a damn. It's your business. But it's nice to be around these events where people just come together looking to just grow,
100%.
And everybody's just so happy to be around and it just felt like human. It felt human, I felt like just a normal human being doing something humans should do, coming together, working together, and trying to create a better life for them and their loved ones.
100%. And the cool thing is, like I said, we were very picky then, and we're going to do that at the Pivot Summit, is very picky on the speakers. We want people that want to actually give value. And there's a few people I'm excited to introduce you to. There's one or two I can't actually say who they are, but I'm excited to introduce you.
I met some really nice people there. The big thing is this. You don't go there and feel like anybody's coming after you for nothing. Everybody just, you talk about what you're doing. If you have an interest, you keep collaborating. That's the way it is. But there's no hard pitch schemes, and there's nobody there looking at you, write them a check or sign up for this or that. And it's just, you can relax and just talk about real estate and, and that's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that's what I enjoy. I don't like walking into these wolf dens. I call them wolf dens, where they're trying to bring in the sheep, yeah. How much can we get out of this guy and that lady? And how much can we get? And what kind of money I want to spend? And sign up for this and all that hard sales pitch bullshit. Take your sales shit and stick it up your ass. I'd rather just try to help people help themselves.
Yeah.
And if people can help themselves, they don't need to be, just giving somebody their money.
Yeah.
I like the people that want to learn how to do it themselves.
Absolutely.
That's what I like. People like me and you that want to get their hands dirty, want to create their own wealth. That's what I like to do. And listen, I don't knock anybody. If I buy bonds. And that's an investment. If you're comfortable buying REITs, which are fine, that's fine. But those REITs are run by very, very smart people.
Oh, yeah. They are.
Very, very smart people that are running billions and billions of dollars worth of real estate. If that's what you want as an investment, that's fine. But if you want to get down and dirty and you want to make the big bucks, not just a return, then you got to do what me and you do. Let's face it. Come on. Yeah. You got to get your hands dirty, Yeah. Or in my case, get somebody else's hands dirty, but,
Yeah. And just to remind everyone again, so I see some people comment, you have to put Ben in the checkout and it'll be free. You have to make sure you follow both me and Ben. On the picture of me and Ben in there, make sure you guys comment Pivot, Pivot. And then in the checkout, you'll do Ben, Ben, and it'll give you a free ticket.
Free ticket, baby. Free ticket. Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. That's great. Well, I really, what else? What else is going on? Come on.
So now I get a free consult. Well,
you want the free consult? Free consult. I knew he had an angle.
So I want to get
guy, but he's got an angle.
So I want to get into hotels. What are your thoughts?
Do you really want to get into hotels?
It's more business than real estate.
Definitely not real estate. It's a business. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
telling you now, to get into hotels, you can make money. All right. But you got to buy it right and you got to have a plan.
Mhm.
But you can make money in hotels.
Mhm.
Okay. But you got to know what the hell you're doing and you got to have people that know what they're doing working for you.
Mhm.
Okay, because you're running a 24-hour, 7-day a week, 365-day a year operation. You got people coming in, coming out, and these people got to sleep in this place. So you got to constantly maintain it,
Mhm.
and you got to constantly keep it booked. And you got marketing, you got sales for events. If you have food there, that's going to be another component of it. You got all the housekeeping. You got, some of my hotels. I mean, listen, I got shuttle buses running back and forth to Tampa Airport all day long and all night long. I got
Wow.
shuttle buses. I got to deal with the airport. I got to maintain these vans. I got to have drivers. I got to have people at the front desk. I got to have 100 housekeepers. I got to have guys that they call them bellmen. They got to have people going, all people in the laundry. I got waiters. I got dishwashers. I got food managers. I got cooks. I got sous chefs. I got all that. A hotel, let me tell you, you gotta really do your homework. But it's definitely a profitable business if you know what you're doing. Have you ever owned a hotel before?
I've never owned a hotel.
Well, then I recommend you start it off with something small.
Do I do non-branded first, or should I do a branded hotel?
It all
first?
depends on location.
Okay.
Number one, if a new guy wants to go in to buy a hotel and it has a brand on it, a flag, you're probably going to have to start with somebody who has the credentials to be approved for management of the flag. See, flags are just not going to let you, hey, yeah, sure, you're going to take my Holiday Inn name and throw it up there and run the place like shit. No, they're going to make sure that you have to be approved with the proper credentials of people that know how to operate under their flag. You may have to hire a management company for a year and prove to them that you know the ropes. I mean, luckily, I hired the guy from, from the university that came in to work with me. So, he was brilliant and he had a lot of experience in different flags. So, the flags approved him right away. But typically I sold hotels to people that said, yeah, we want to buy a hotel, but the flag's saying we need a management company. So, well, what are you going to do? Marriott's tough. IHG's tough. They're going to want to see you have a management company, hire a management company, find the right management company, and then use them for a year. And then hopefully, if you're involved and you learn everything, then you can take it over yourself and manage it yourself. But, listen, it's a business. It's definitely a business. Location. It's a supply and demand business like everything else in life. There has to be a demand for the supply, like anything, even a storage facility.
No,
you don't want to open up a storage facility. There's no demand for people that need storage. Out in the boondocks, people they got space. They don't need storage. Now, urban, you go in any kind of urban area, built up area, storage is worth a fortune. So, it's all about supply and demand. The key is management. It's 100% management with hotels. But you can find them. A lot of times the money to be made in hotels is this. You find one where a guy's owned it for many years. The franchise comes in. They say, listen, it's been, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. We need to do a PIP on this place. You know what a PIP is, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Property improvement plan. For everybody that didn't know. The flags that come in, they're going to say, okay, you need to do all this. You need new beds. You need new mattresses. You need this. You need curtains. You need to upgrade the place and make it to higher standards. That's where you come in. You buy it at the right price. You do the PIP and improve it, just like you would improve a piece of real estate, and then you're in the market, with a property that has now been improved that should get a higher room revenue. Okay. And the flag should be sending you a lot of, business, but it's definitely about location too. Definitely about location.
Okay. All right. So quick reminder to everyone, because I'm getting some text. Remember, if you want to get a free ticket to come see Ben, you got to follow me and Ben at Shane. So there's a picture of me and Ben. Make sure you guys comment pivot, PIVOT. It'll give you all the instructions. And in checkout, type in Ben's name, BEN, and you'll get a free ticket. Also, there's a free giveaway. Ben's going to give a free consult with Ben with you guys. Okay. So Ben, real quick.
Not every ticket.
Huh? Not with every ticket. We get one consult with Ben to someone, to one person on this
live.
live.
Give some more away.
Yeah.
But
so what do you recommend for someone trying to get started into their first deal? Let's just say it's a young guy. He's got $10,000 saved. he wants to get his first single family home.
I mean, listen, everybody's first deal is typically FHA. Okay, 3.5% down.
Mhm.
All right, so you can only do a deal based on the money you got. So that's $3,500 in every $100,000. If he's got 10 grand, he might be able to get a $300,000 deal.
Mhm.
But the problem with FHA homes are they pretty much got to be. They don't have to be, high end, but they got to pass an inspection. But you can still find them when they pass the FHA inspection, and you can do the deal. But then there's an opportunity to maybe improve it while you live there.
Yes.
Okay, you know what my kids do, or used to do, or should do?
What is that?
Every 2 years, they
Get a new.
buy a house,
Mhm.
they fix it up, they sell it, and they take the profit up to $250,000 profit, tax-free per person. If you're married, $500,000. If you buy a house, I hope every single person in this entire country, if they don't know anything about real estate, I want you to know one thing. And if you know somebody that doesn't know, tell them.
Yeah.
Share. It's good if everybody knows and everybody does well in life. I always say if the whole world worked together and helped everybody, it would be a perfect world. Okay? So listen, everybody in the world should know this. And a lot of people do. If you buy a property and you live in it for 2 years, you can make up to $250,000, $250,000 tax-free. If you're married, you can do up to $500,000.
Tax-free.
Tax-free. You make that $500,000 tax-free. Where normally, if you did buy a house and the market went up and you fixed it up and it's worth $500,000 more and you made $500,000 more, typically in some states, you're probably going to pay 20% to the government and 10% to the state, maybe up to if you're California somewhere. It's like 30%.
Yes.
30% of that $500,000. That's a lot of dough. 10%
yeah.
of $500,000 is 50 grand times 3 is 150,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No. Right. Okay. I don't know. I got no calculator here.
Okay.
The point is that you have to, this is the smart way of starting. But what I recommend young people to do is don't buy the house. Don't. If you're young, you got plenty of time for that fancy schmancy house, okay, or a big house. Buy a fourplex. FHA is 1 to 4.
Yes.
Okay, or a 3 or a 2. Buy something that has some income coming in. Now, the money, because you know what's going to happen? Typically, I would never recommend when people call me up, and a lot of people do, and they say, hey, I'm young, I'm 25, but I want to buy a house, blah, blah, blah. I can afford it, and I get approved. Listen, buy the fourplex. You know why? Because the same guy that calls me that wants to buy the house, he's probably paying $2 to $3 grand a month, right?
Yeah.
If he buys the 4 units, I won't agree or approve him to doing a deal unless the absolute minimum is he eliminates his $2,000 to $3,000 a month in rent.
That's right. So
because
free.
the other 3 tenants, we figured it out. This is your mortgage. This is your taxes. This is your insurance. Okay. And whatever other bills you got, that's going to pay everything on that property. That's the rock bottom. I typically want to see them have a deal with cash flow on top of that.
Yeah.
But at a minimum, I want to see you give up paying that rent of $2,000 to $3,000 a month, which could be what, 20 something, 30 something thousand a year that you're saving. And we all know the old famous saying is saving money is, he's from Seminole, making money. So that's what young people should be doing.
Yeah.
But get qualified right away, FHA, and then they also have what they call, I was doing a consult today with a guy. He says, well, I want to buy something, but I want to make sure I buy something I can make money on. Well, if you really want to make sure you're going to make money, and he was a contractor, okay? If you want to make money, it's easy. You go out there and you get a Section 203 loan. Section 203. You familiar with the Section 203 HUD loan?
No. Oh, HUD loan.
HUD loan, Section 203. It's the same as FHA, except you need work. It's where they loan you the money to buy the place, then they loan you the money to fix it.
They do.
Okay. Yeah. And then, and it's a process. As you fix that, you get the money. And I used it. I did it when I was in my 20s. And then, at the end, you fix the property and then you got a property that's worth a lot more than you put into it. A contractor, oh my God, I don't understand why every contractor, they should be buying real estate. They call me up, oh, I'm building this for this guy, I'm building it for that guy, I'm making this guy this money and this guy. Do it for your goddamn self. You're the contractor. You can do it for at least 20% less than you're charging people. go out. All right. The conversation we had today with the guy was this. It was real simple. This is California, which is tough. California calls it the toughest I have.
Oh,
Why?
yeah.
Because the real estate costs so much goddamn money there. So basically, the guy's telling me a 1,500 square foot house costs $700,000, $800,000. That's nuts. So I said, well, I'll tell you what. You need to tell your real estate agent only show you the houses that you know the city will let you build an addition on. Because you know damn well, even in California, you could build for $200 a square foot. But you're selling them for $500 a square foot. So you got a $300 a square foot upside and profit on construction. It's simple. I bought a house over here in the beach once, and I told the contractor, listen, it was a 2-story house on the beach in Reddington. It had a garage up front and a 2-story house attached to it, right? I said, build me a box, rip the roof off the garage,
and build on it.
Build me just a box, no bathroom, just a nice big family room, right? Because the house kind of needed that, needed a family room. So he added the box. So a typical garage is 400 square feet, 20 by 20, right? He built me to 400 square feet. He only charged me like $150 a square foot, right? So what's that? 400 times 100 is 40,000. Another 50, about 60 grand, right? $60,000 it cost me to build the addition on that box, right? And he did a nice job too. You know what the hell houses sell for on the beach?
I can only imagine over here.
800 to 900, or maybe now 1,000, but back then it was 800 to 900 square foot. So I paid $150 a square foot. I sold the house, and that 400 square foot portion, I made roughly about $650 a square foot times 400.
Yeah.
It's common sense.
Yes.
So, whenever you can add on to something, in California, everybody's converting to garages. I said, people like garages. The house will be worth even more money if you don't convert the garage, but you build the addition. Yeah. So, that's what you do. You got to look for value add. Always try to do value add. If you're going to buy a house, buy something you can make worth more money, or buy some rental units where you can increase the rents. The rents determine the value of the property. It's all about the NOI. You know that.
Yeah. And more important on commercial. Right.
Absolutely. Anything you're paying rent, the rent controls the value of the house and the price of the value of the real estate. I mean, that's number one. So that's what I tell everybody. If you're young and you're just starting out, get qualified, line up the loan, and find a deal that you can buy that you're going to have some kind of upside in. You need upside.
Yes.
Especially when you're young.
Yeah.
All right. But I really highly recommend you buy rental units, because the rental units can fix them up. You can raise the rent, and they're going to be worth more money.
Yes. So here one thing is if you do fix and flips, or you do wholesaling where you buy and just sell you get a property under contract and you sell the contract to someone else, or if you fix and flip, you buy low, fix and sell, you have to repeat over and over again. But if you buy rentals, right, you might make a little bit of cash flow, but you start scaling that up to 10, 50, like you make $500 on one property and then you buy 10 properties, that's $5,000 a month. Do you want $5,000 a month, or you want to make 30 grand per property, but you have to repeat it over and over and over again, and no taxes on fix and flips, right?
Well, if you 1031, if you're going to sell it, you get a 1031 it. But typically what a lot of people do is once they see the value has been increased in a property, they're going to refinance it.
That's right.
And they're going to pull most of that money back they would have got from a sale, then take that money, and refinance money is non-taxable event.
Yeah, I'm talking about fix and flips, though. That's
fix and flips are great. They're great. But, if you want to keep them, every property's different.
Yes.
You look at the cash flow, you figure out how much money you can get out of a refi, you figure out how much money you can get from a sale, and you make the best decision on what works best for you to keep growing.
Yes.
All right. Because a lot of people, I just sell a lot of properties I didn't want to sell because I needed the money to grow and go into the next deal. I refinanced as much as I could. Well, I'm tapped out. I got to go start selling. And then with the money that I'm reinvesting in is going to make me more money. So, it made sense.
Yeah. So I just want to remind, because I'm getting some more messages.
He's getting more messages here.
Make sure that if you want to get a free ticket to our Pivot Conference to come see Ben, you have to follow me and Ben at Shane SEO. And there's a picture of me and Ben. Make sure you guys comment Pivot, and we'll send you a DM. Put in Ben in the promo code, and you'll get a free ticket to come see Ben, take a picture out in Atlanta, Georgia. And now, Ben, real quick too. So I know that you went from what was it like for you to go from single family into multifamily, or did you go into commercial
I
first?
started with little shitty houses, crack houses, okay? Bought them, fixed them, rented them out to Section 8, and then I refinanced them, and then I might have refinanced them again once they were stabilized after a year, and then eventually sold them, okay? But, I was doing anything that made sense and anything I could raise the money to buy. I don't care. When I went to a house, then I moved to duplex, then I went to triplex, then I went to fourplex. And then once you get comfortable and you got enough money, it's all about how much do you have the money for the down payment, and do you have a plan to fix it up and the money to fix it up. So it was easy for me because I went into management. I started managing other people's properties before I owned my own properties. So if I can manage their properties and make them money, why the hell can't I do it for myself? 100%. Just like going back to the contractor. If you can go out and buy and build shit for other people, why can't he build shit for himself? All right. That's what you do. You learn and you work for other people, and then you graduate into working for yourself. That's the route that I went down.
Yeah.
And then I would look at, like today, listen, I'm not bragging, but my kid takes me the other day to a 384 property. We drove through it. We looked at it. We figured out what it's going to cost to put it back in the shape it should be in. How much does the buyer or the seller want? What the rents are, what the rents could be if we fixed it up. These are all the calculations and things you have to know. You have to do your homework.
Yes.
But if you do your homework, you won't fail.
Yeah.
If you do your homework and you got real hardcore numbers, you can't lose if you do it right and do your homework.
Yes. And also, it's not, you guys can also learn as much as you want, but you eventually have to take action.
You got to take action.
Yeah, because I was studying for 5 years. I just couldn't get a deal.
Anybody can go. Somebody called me and said they got an FHA loan on Quicken online. It's true. You go online and apply for an FHA loan. You can apply to any bank loan. There's plenty of people that want to loan you money. That's all these people do is loan money. That's how they make money. They want to loan you money. You just got to give them the paperwork they need and qualify for the amount that you can afford to pay.
Yes.
And if you buy rental property, right, the property qualifies because it's generating income. It's not all on your shoulders based on your paycheck. So you just got to save for a down payment, see what financing you can get into, and make a move, and then find a deal. Have the real estate agents go out there and find you a deal. That's their job. They're going to get paid by the seller. They work for free.
Yeah. That's amazing, actually. Didn't you? What is your most favorite asset? Would it be multifamily, or would it be the commercial? I know it's hotels. You said it's technically not real estate.
I'm not emotional.
Yeah.
I'm not emotional. Maybe I was when I was younger, but I'm not emotional anymore. To me, it's all about the numbers. If you show me a goddamn hotel I'm going to make $5 million on, I'm going to do it. If you show me a property, apartment building I'm going to make $5 million on, or $1 million, whatever it is, or a retail center, I don't care. I'm even willing to learn a sector of real estate that I don't know. I never owned a storage facility. I always wanted to own one. And I never owned industrial. But I would be willing to sit down and look at the numbers, because if you apply the same techniques to every sector of real estate, know what you're buying, know what you got to do to it. Is it going to be worth more money after you do it? What's the value going to be in the market? These are things you can determine by comparable sales, right? It's easy to know what something's worth. You look and see what was just like it that just sold. That tells you the market, what the value is. That's what the appraisers do.
No, that's
an appraiser is based on comparable sales.
How I know that Ben Jr. built like the out parcel. Was that your first time doing like development?
First time he did it. I didn't help him, and he learned a lot. He made a couple of little minor mistakes, which he realized, but that was a learning experience.
Yeah.
Now he knows, because he was a little nervous and he wasn't ready to push people around. So they kind of said, "Oh, why don't you do this? And why don't you do that?" He says, "Okay." Now he says, "Oh, I didn't need to do that. I didn't need to do that. I would have saved $200,000 or $300,000. But he did great. But what he did was, he saw the opportunity in our big lots where we can carve them out. Like, go to a shopping center and say, we got more than we need parking here that's required. Let's carve out a parcel. Let's throw up a building and let's rent it out. So he took a parcel right here by Buck Stadium, and he carved out a piece of the lot. It wasn't much. He threw up I think it was like a I don't know, 6,000-7,000 square foot building. I think he spent about $1.5 million building it, right? And it's worth $5 million.
Wow.
I mean, of course, I had the land already. Now, the land value, if you went out and found a piece of land, it probably would have, that land would have cost at least $1.5 million. So you would have spent $1.5 million buying the land, $1.5 million building it, $3 million investment, would have been worth $5 million based on the rents. That location.
Yeah.
He did in Orlando too. He did the same thing in
Oh, he
Orlando.
did? I
He
didn't
took a
know.
piece of parking lot up in my hotel.
Huh.
Now we're always out looking for lots that we can buy and do the same thing.
Now, I do have a question. So on that out parcel, the first one, you already owned the shopping center.
It was a hotel. The first one was a hotel in Orlando
hotel.
on I Drive with a globe on top.
Okay.
He carved out the front of the street, the frontage, and he put in 4 shops. He built a box with 4 spaces in it.
Yeah. Did he already have a lease to give it value?
He already put up a sign for tenants to start calling saying build, for lease. A big sign showing a diagram what the building's going to look like. And then we started getting calls from all kinds of people. Oh, yeah, I want to open up a shop there. Yeah, I want to open up a shop there. So he kind of had the tenants lined up. A lot of the big shot developers will already know the tenant that they can go to that wants that location. Retail and commercial is a little different. It's all about traffic count. Traffic count is very big, they're like fast food for franchises, and I'm not ashamed to say he even rented to do medical marijuana. Why? We did it because they pay like really good rent.
They do,
because they can't go everywhere. Yeah. And a lot of banks don't like loaning on them. So, I said, go ahead. He wanted to do it. I said, fine, do it. Now we actually call every time we see a vacant building or a vacant space, we call them up and we say, hey, you interested in this location? We'll buy it and rent to you. So now we know, they'll say, oh, yeah, we like that location. We'll do it. Done. We go back. We make a deal on the building or the land. We either buy the land and build the building, or we just fix up the building that's there and get them in there.
Wow. Yeah.
Leasing is the whole key to commercial retail real estate. Leasing. You get real estate for free.
That's right.
In retail, if you buy it right. Are you paying attention over there, Seminole?
And the banks will also sometimes go based more on the credibility of the tenant than your own credit.
Absolutely. Right? They care about the credit tenant bill, credits. I mean, it depends. Every situation is different. But basically, if you go out and you buy a strip center with 7 spaces in and 2 of them are vacant, you're getting a 2 for vacant for free. Yeah. And all you got to do is fix them and rent them up. You rent them up, and there you go. You make it another $4,000 a month in rent or $5,000 a month in rent or whatever the hell it is. You just increase the value of that property, and your cap rate that you bought it at just went way higher. You might have bought it in a 6 cap, but at that 6 cap, you ran out those 2 spaces. Now you're at an 8 cap. Yeah.
So actually, that reminds me of something that we did. We bought a property. Now, like I told you, I've done more creative stuff. 80% of my portfolio is creative, but we bought a laundromat, storage units, and a car wash for $400,000, and the seller financed it to us with no money down. We paid $3,700 a month. It was a win for the seller. He got his price, and it was really passive. And then we were able to sell it for $1.3 million due to the rent.
There you go. Yeah, it's all about the rent
100%
and your NOI. People, the property's worth what the NOI is. What is the place cash flow? And that determines what the value is based on a cap rate.
Yeah, we had $11,500 per month. Triple net.
There you go. Yeah. That's like 20 grand a year?
I think so, yeah. Well, no, a little more, right?
A little more than that. 120 grand a year. That's great. And people, like a lot of people, see, there's a market for everything. Some people want to buy something that's just not 100% passive, but pretty much when they ain't got to, it's already up and running, it's turnkey, and they just, they're going to make their money every month. Did you run the business part of it? Did you run the laundromat too? Were you over there emptying the quarters with the Tesla and all that shit?
Yeah, well, that was actually the sell. So, like I said,
then you could sell a business too if you did.
Yeah. And actually, we did that recently. We bought a cleaners for $1.2 million. We bought it also a little bit creative. And then what we did is we sold the business for $1 million. And then we triple net leased both the buildings that we had. They had 2 locations.
There you go. You can sell a business. You can sell a real estate. You can sell it all. I mean, it's all about finding value in something. Looking out the box and saying, yeah, I can do this. I can do that. And it's going to be worth more money. It's simple.
1,000%. All right, just a quick reminder again, because I'm getting more texts.
He's getting more texts. I don't know. I can't get the free ticket.
Yeah, you guys, if you want a free ticket to come see Ben at our conference May 30th in Atlanta, Georgia, you guys make sure to follow me and Ben. I'm at Shane. So there's a picture of me and Ben. Make sure you guys comment pivot and then it'll send you a link, and then in the promo code you're going to put Ben, BEN, and you'll get a free ticket for you guys to come. And Ben is giving one person on this live a free consult with Ben for 15 minutes, and you guys make sure you'll get the instructions in that email as well. Okay.
Very good. Very good. What else you got for us, Shane? What else you got?
All right. So I'm very curious. So I'm how many people, I know that you said you haven't done much creative. Do you know any other investors that buy things creatively? Because like I said, that's kind of what I've always
You're
been
very
doing.
unique. Okay. And it could be also in your area of the country, it's more common. You see, the problem with Florida is too many people got money here. You know, and they want money. I don't know. Listen, like I said, I used to take a lot of deals subject to, you know, and they, you know, I would take over their note. That's basically what I used to do. I didn't come across a lot of people that own stuff free and clear. So, you know, I didn't really have that opportunity, you know, that you had. But, you know, listen, if there's a will, there's a way. And it don't hurt to ask.
It doesn't hurt.
You know, hey, you ever think about selling this place where I just pay you every month and you forget about it and just collect a check? A lot of people say, sure, that'd be great. I'll save a fortune on taxes.
Yeah. So the reason why I was asking is because I didn't have any money. Like I know some of the young people are home, they don't have 10 or 20,000, or they don't have the credit in place. They can't even get an FHA loan sometime. Right. And that was really the position I was in. So I learned for so long, and it took me 5 years to get started. But once I kind of grasped the idea, I was able to go to landlords and say, and landlords are already willing to take monthly payments. Now it's just my point to explain to them.
And if you screw them, they'll take the property back.
Yeah. And they get it back in better condition.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's
so
a win-win.
Yeah. So we were even able to buy not just single family, the 400 that we bought, we probably bought 90% of those was with creative.
But you put a lot of effort into finding these people, I believe.
Well, not too much. You'd be amazed how easy it is. Like my first apartment complex was 44 units, and I went and I talked to these guys. They inherited the property. Their dad had built it. They've been managing for 10 years, but they were tired. They didn't want to be landlords.
Right.
So they sold it to me, 44 units with $0 down, 12 grand a month. Rents was 18. We raised it to 28 grand after 60 days. And then after 3 years of, remodel, we put granite in the kitchens and new air conditions. Now we have it around $45,000 a month. So I know there's a lot of people out there, but I believe that it could actually work on some of the hires. Like the Empire State Building is under a master lease.
Yeah, you could also lease with options to purchase too.
Yeah.
That's common. I've seen that happen a lot where people say, okay, I'm going to master lease the whole place from you, and you ain't going to worry about shit.
How common do you see that, though? That's what I was curious.
I mean, let's be honest. Traditionally, the worlds that I've been operating in, it's strictly buy it right and pay the people off and get rid of them. I mean, it's common. You don't have to go all the way like you did. A lot of times people will do what they call an 80-10-10. You put 10% down, you got 10% seller carry, you got 80% financing. There's all kinds of ways. Listen, as long as two people agree and the bank on a deal, then you got a deal. Simple as that.
That's right.
Okay. It's all about finding out what everybody's needs are and what they're willing to accept. And be happy. And that's all it takes. Everybody cooperating and make a deal. It don't hurt to try. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Ben's been helping me and coaching me because, like I said, I have 400 single family and I bought them under land trust. So it's a different entity for a lot of the different homes. So now that puts me in a situation. So when I sell, I don't want to have to pay that big tax gain, but I want to get into some of the bigger products like you were in. It's my phase. I think it's time for me to move to the next, but
you better make sure that their opportunities are there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which are coming in your area. I think you'll find a lot of more opportunity.
Yeah. What do you think about me coming down into the Florida area?
I don't need you in my backyard competing with me. Goddamn it. Keep your goddamn ass in Georgia. Go pick some peaches.
Well, that's where we partner. Don't you think?
Listen, honestly, what my kids are looking at now is they're actually looking at building, they're looking at building some affordable housing, brand new affordable housing. So we're looking for land. They're also working with the state on some programs because,
that's cool.
They're sophisticated enough to do it, and I wasn't. I mean, I did a lot of affordable housing, but I was already built. Stuff I just bought and fixed it up. They want to do ground up. But, you come down here and knock on any door you want. It's a free country,
Yeah, one thing, too, that makes you stand out compared to a lot of people I talk. Number one, you're raw. What you see is what you get. I've got to see, talk to you behind the camera, too. But also, you're extremely proud of your kids and you involve them in everything.
Hell yeah, they do all my dirty work.
Yeah, so they're going to definitely take the empire, and they're going to end up growing, like you said, and developing now.
You should have bought the 2 buildings I just sold. Sorry.
Or-
But they were kind of like in very suburban areas,
Mhm.
like out in the middle of nowhere, basically. I'm not going to bullshit you.
Mm.
But they were beautiful buildings, and they were affordable housing,
Mhm.
and they ran very well and they had really great returns, and everything was great. But I sold them off really pretty good prices. Every time I sell a deal, there's always a little fat on the bone for the next guy.
Yeah, you got to leave a little.
You got to
bit,
leave a
for
little
sure.
fat on the bone, or it's got to work that way. So that's about it. What else you got, Shane? CO?
We're gonna
Give us some karate. Teach us some karate.
Yeah.
How can I hurt somebody without having to exert a lot of energy?
Do what?
We can scroll through the list of everyone that commented pivot, and Ben can pick who.
Okay, Ben, what we're going to do is we're going to let you choose someone online.
Scroll randomly, stop.
Okay, we're going to scroll randomly, and you get to choose who wins the Consult with Ben from today's podcast.
Okay.
Now, we'll give it 2 more minutes to get because I see some new people got on. Again, if you guys want to win a free ticket or get a free ticket, you're going to get a free ticket, everyone that's on the live stream, to come see Ben in Atlanta, May 30th. You guys make sure to follow me on Instagram at Shane SEO. There's a picture of me and Ben. You have to follow both of us, okay? And you have to put in the comments, pivot, PIVOT. You'll get a message, okay? And you type in Ben and you'll get a free ticket. Also, if you want to win a free consult with Ben for 15 minutes, one person on today's live stream is going to get that. And Ben's going to choose. We'll give it 2 more minutes.
What are some of the topics you were talking about? I mean, I was too busy, trying to detain people and talk to people because I like that.
Yeah.
I like helping people.
At the Atlanta Real Estate Conference.
I noticed you did a lot of talking.
So what I talked about was the fact that because when I got started, I didn't have any money. I didn't know what I was doing, and I didn't have all the, I guess, the money or the position to do it. So what I did is instead of saying I can't get into real estate, I said, how can I make this deal work? So I was able to, talk to landlords, talk to people wanting to sell their home, and not just, I don't want to use the word convince, but I was able to show them it's a win for them to sell their price. They get usually top retail price for their house if they give me good terms. And then in return, I get to take over the property and give someone else a chance to become a homeowner. We like to build a pathway to home ownership. And then I like to say, like, I'm doing well while doing well for others. I like win-wins. My grandma always said, which we call Big Mom, she said, nothing's ever worth going to hell over. So I never like the feeling of screwing someone over. And I've always liked to I like to sleep well at night. So basically, in a nutshell, because you haven't heard the whole thing, I guess, what I do is I find homes, and let's just say that you have a home for $200,000. And I'm talking to you, and you're like, I need to move to Georgia to be with my Aunt Judy, who's in bad health. And I'll say, look, if I take the property and as this condition, would you be willing to, and then I'll give the terms. So let's just say $200,000 home, and you're like, I need $10,000 to leave, go to Georgia, and you can pay me $1,000 a month until it's paid off. So that's pretty much 0% interest.
You paying principal?
Principal only. Yes, sir. Then let's just say I don't have $10,000. So I'll get it under contract. And what I'll do is I'll find a good family, that quality person, just not qualified right now, needs 2-3 years to get, either job history or, debt paid down. They'll pay me $20,000, or let's just say 25. So now I have it under contract for 10. You're going to take monthly payments of 1,000. I'll find someone. I say, look, I'll sell it to you. I'll give you an option to buy it for $250, but you have to pay me $25. That way I'll pay you 10. I'll make 15, and I'll charge them, $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month. So I get the cash flow a little bit. So that way I feel like it's a good for the seller.
How many 400 homes is there somebody that's trying to buy it? All of them, or?
No. Some, not all of them did I do that. The lease option, and some of them, some people just vanish, like people divorce.
Yeah.
But I try everything we can to help them be able to do it.
Yeah.
And then if they can, and they've had a good relationship, we've helped a lot of Hispanics. Like I said, I speak Spanish. If they can't get approval after 2-3 years, I'll sell or finance it to them if I have to,
Mm-hmm.
But the 400 is what I have to sell. So that's what I want to sell. And I'm taking your advice. We got 33 under contract now and another 44 soon. And then I'm going to package up another 50. So I'm doing it in small packages.
You carrying a lot of the paper?
No, not on those. Those I own.
I mean, because if you want to grow, the problem is you can't keep carrying because you need a lump sum of cash to buy your own big deal. Because honestly, when you get into the big deals, you're going to find that guys want to cash out. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
And they're not going to. They might do some financing with you,
Mhm.
But and they might do it for a short period of time, a lot of financing with you. But it's going to be a couple of years, and they're going to want you to cash them out,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah. Like for example, like on my house that you saw in
Mhm.
Atlanta, it's about 15,000 square feet.
That
It's
was
not
an
as big as
amazing
yours.
house.
We got that seller like creatively.
Yeah, you were telling me that was amazing.
So for example, if I was talking to you about your home, I say, hey Ben, look, and I would just come to you and bring the reality. Look, interest rates are high, the economy's crazy, the banks are not wanting to lend on a home like this. Insurance is wild.
It's been sitting on the market for a year.
Yeah. Would you be willing to sell it? If what do you want? 30 million, 40? I don't. What do you want?
I'll take 30 right now. Write
30.
me a check.
And I'll say, look, let's say 28 or what. Let's just say, but even if in the end you say no 30, I say, look, I'll pay you 40 grand a month for 2 to 3 years. Once interest rates come down, things settle, interest rate, like I'll cash you out later. That's kind of what we do for myself. Or
listen, whatever works for you is
Yeah.
fine. You're trying, and it
Mhm.
doesn't hurt to try.
yeah, and if I get
You
a
know?
no, it's okay. At least I gave, had a shot. So that's kind of what we do.
I actually, but I like to help people. That's a fact. I like to make
Yes.
things happen that normally can't happen for people.
Absolutely.
If
Like I
come
said, I
up with
want
a
to
way.
feel good about it.
Nothing better than helping people. It sounds corny, and everybody says, "Oh, he's full of shit," but it's true. When people call me up and tell me, "Hey, I listened to you and I did what you said and I made this money," I mean, it's unbelievable. I've had $1 million stories of people that listen to me and made millions of dollars that they normally wouldn't have made. I also stopped several people from losing millions of dollars on deals that don't look good to me, senor.
All right. So we're gonna actually go ahead and choose who wins the free consult with Ben.
Okay.
So
How
I'm
am I
gonna
going to pick?
What
How
I'm
am I
gonna
gonna
do
pick?
is I'm gonna scroll through. You take your finger and touch, and then
All
I'll
right,
read
here
that
we
out.
go.
Okay.
You ready? I'm not going to look.
All
Ding,
right,
ding,
it's
ding,
on a
ding,
roll.
ding, ding, ding. Ready? Spin it, baby.
All right. Let's see who this is. This person is at 416
Don't take that number out.
Woods.
Oh,
416
okay. I was
Woods.
just tell your phone number.
Let's see if it says their name. If you're 416 Woods, could you send me a DM here, and I'll make sure to connect you with Rafal. Rafal, you'll connect for the free consult with Ben.
Yeah. All right. So we're good. May 30th. We're all going to Georgia, baby.
Oh,
Pack your
yes.
peaches.
You guys come out to see us. Remember, free tickets. Make sure you guys click on the picture of me and Ben. Follow me on Instagram. We're going to give you guys free tickets to come see Ben, take a picture with them, and you'll meet some like-minded people. Your future partner could be at this event.
It's definitely a productive time to spend. I guarantee you that. I love going around these people.
Yeah, Ben, hey, I just want to say first and foremost, it's an honor. Thanks for spending
Thanks for
some
coming
time
all the
with
way
us
down.
and everything, really.
Shit, you came like what? Almost 500-600 miles. And he
Yeah,
walked
pretty
here.
I did. I got my walking
He
shoes
left
on.
last month.
We flew in today. Woo.
Very good. Well, thanks very much. Anything else? We're good?
No, that's it. Thank you guys.
All right.
We'll see you guys.
All right. Adios.